moment the words slipped out my mouth, I knew I'd crossed a line. Maybe I should just run off with Daniel, I said with a smirk, tossing my hair back like it was nothing more than a joke. James froze. His hand, mid-lift toward his coffee, hovered in the air, those warm hazel eyes, the ones that watched over me for 12 years, darkened like a storm quietly gathering. You think that's funny? His voice was calm, steady, but sharp. The laughter I'd expected caught in my throat. It had been a joke. I hadn't meant it. But he stood, pushed the chair back with a harsh scrape, and walked toward the door. No shouting, no slamming fists, just a deliberate, quiet exit that felt infinitely more terrifying. That was the last time I saw him. The unraveling. James and I weren't perfect. We weren't married, but we had history. Late-night drives, the tiny apartment where we built our first life, the scar on his chin from when he slipped fixing the leaky sink. He was steady, loyal, always there. Maybe that was a problem. I had grown restless in ways I wasn't willing to admit, even to myself. Daniel, my co-worker, wasn't anything special. Tall, charming, flirtatious in a way that made me feel noticed. He didn't really matter. But for a moment, he made me feel seen in a way James hadn't lately. Or maybe I only convinced myself of that, dropping his name in that reckless joke. I hadn't realized I was holding a loaded gun. James didn't come home that night, or the next. His phone went straight to voicemail. His car wasn't in the driveway. His clothes still hung neatly in the closet, but it was as if he had vanished. At first, I told myself he was just cooling off, that he'd return once the sting of my words faded. But days became weeks, and with each sunrise, the weight of my mistake grew heavier. 3 weeks later, a letter arrived. No return address. My name written in his familiar, slanted handwriting. My hands trembled as I tore it open. You think it was a joke? Maybe for you it was. For me, it was a mirror reflecting a truth I've been too afraid to face. You don't respect me. You don't love me. You don't even see me anymore. I'm making it easy for you. Consider me gone. Don't look for me. Tears blurred the words. He wasn't bluffing. He wasn't waiting for me to apologize. He was gone. And the terrifying part? He meant it. The guilt followed me everywhere. At the grocery store, I'd reach for his favorite cereal before remembering he wasn't there. At night, I'd roll over expecting his warmth, only to be met with cold, empty sheets. Friends asked where he was. I lied at first, claiming work travel. Eventually, whispers replaced questions. Everyone knew something had cracked in our life. His social media went dark. Emails bounced. Accounts deleted. James had scrubbed himself clean from the world. And yet, the cruelest irony, I hadn't cheated. I hadn't even wanted to. The joke wasn't born of desire, but recklessness. A dare to test the boundaries of his love. I got my answer. Months later, I finally saw him again, not by accident. A friend spotted him working at a repair shop 2 towns over. My heart hammered as I drove there, nearly shattering in my chest. He looked different. Thinner, sharper jawline, messy hair. But he was still James. Why? He whispered when I stepped inside. He froze, then slowly turned. His eyes weren't stormy anymore. They were hollow, a well run dry. What are you doing here? He asked flatly. I had to see you to explain. It was a stupid joke. That's all. His laugh was bitter. Do you know how pathetic it feels to hear your wife joke about another man? Do you know how many nights I lay awake wondering if you really wanted him? No, James. It wasn't like that. I sobbed. There was nothing between us. I swear. There could have been, he said, stepping closer. And the fact you even dangled that in front of me, it told me everything I needed to know. My knees buckled. Please, don't throw everything away over one mistake. He stared long, then shook his head. It wasn't one mistake. It was years of being taken for granted. That joke, it was just the last nail. And just like that, he walked away, leaving me in a haze of grease, sawdust, and heartbreak. After that, I stopped chasing him. Not because I didn't want to, but because I realized I couldn't fix what I'd broken. Time passed, but the silence never lifted. Divorce papers arrived a year later. No confrontation. No final words. Just his signature, a line for mine. I signed with trembling hands, ink smudged. Betrayal isn't always a kiss, a hotel, an affair. Sometimes it's smaller, quieter, a careless word, a thoughtless laugh, a knife slipped between ribs without realizing you were holding it. I hadn't cheated on James, but I had betrayed him all the same. I think about him every day. Where is he? Is he happier now? Has he found someone who values him the way I should have? Sometimes at night, I whisper his name into the dark, hoping he can hear it. But the truth is he's gone. I push him away. All because of a joke I thought was harmless. The last time I saw him was 2 years later, across the street at a cafe. He laughed, genuinely, with a woman I didn't know. His hand rested lightly on hers. She looked at him with the admiration I once gave. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did and chose not to. I stood frozen, my heart breaking all over again.